Hello guys, I'm Pickles Parker, and today I will be doing another Rants and Discussions video. Haven't done one of these in a while, but I'm going to be doing a video on a rumour about the Doctor Who Christmas special. If you don't want to, this is just a rumour, but in case it does turn out to be true, if you don't want any spoilers, then you have been warned. But anyway, enjoy. If you clicked on this video, you probably know the rumour. But the rumour is that apparently Matt Smith will be featuring somewhat in the Christmas special. Now, we don't know, this is just a rumour, but if this is true, we don't know, like, if it's just like a quick cameo at the end, or if he's gonna be in it the whole way through. Now, Matt Smith, I've probably said this before, but Matt Smith is my personal favourite Doctor. He was my first, he was my personal first Doctor, and without him I would have never got into the show. He's my favourite Doctor. I don't think, no matter how many Doctors there will be, I don't think any of them will ever top him from being my favourite Doctor, just because he's my first Doctor. And I think no matter how bad, well, there are a few exceptions, but I think that I'll always watch a not very good Matt Smith episode over, you could say, a not so good Capaldi or not so good Tennant episode. I like both those Doctors, but I just think, just because of Matt Smith, it always lights me up, and his stories, I say especially in the back end of Series 6 and Series 7 Part 1, always feel somewhat nostalgic. It may sound weird because most people use the term nostalgic when they talk about the classic series. And some people have used the term nostalgic if they're talking about maybe the Eccleston years, or the Eccleston year. But it may seem strange that I'm calling the Matt Smith, this sort of Matt Smith middle era nostalgic, because in theory it was only a few years ago. But for me personally, as a Doctor Who fan, it feels somewhat nostalgic. Sorry for my voice, I'm kind of losing my voice. But anyway, now I'm mixed on this, because you may think, well, yeah, you should be really happy that Matt Smith could, in inverted commas, be back for the Christmas special. But I have mixed feelings, because I think it's Capaldi's episode. I never liked Capaldi in his first series. I was a bit of a Matt Smith fanboy. He was like the be-all and end-all. I couldn't get into Capaldi. I didn't like his Doctor in this first series. I hated Series 8. And while I still dislike Series 8, I absolutely love Capaldi's Doctor in that series. And I think as I've got older, I've appreciated that darker Doctor. And I think the problem is with Series 8 is there are more bad episodes than good. But even in those bad episodes, Capaldi's always good in them. He's like sometimes the only redeeming quality. So it seems strange that he's regenerating, because it feels like he's only just really, for me, come into the world. It doesn't feel that long ago that Deep Breath was on our screens. But no, it's his regeneration story, just like Time of the Doctor was Matt Smith's final regeneration story. You're thinking Tennant didn't come back in Time of the Doctor, he came back in the 50th, the day of the Doctor. So Time of the Doctor was very much Matt Smith's regeneration story. It was his final battle. I think, despite I do like Capaldi now, but I have had a rocky beginning with Capaldi. I still deeply respect his Doctor, and he deserves the ending for his Doctor. You could obviously say, yeah, well, Rusty Davies was leaving, and he had all those companion goodbyes in Tennant's last story, so But I think with Tennant it was spread over 2 parts, and that was very much Tennant's last story, and it was only like Russell T. That companion ending was very much just as much. They weaved it in, so yes, it was Russell T Davies saying goodbye to all the characters that he had created. But it was also the Doctor going to visit them before he regenerated. They weaved it in, so it made sense. But I think obviously it's Moffat's last story, and he's contributed a lot to who over the last few years, whether you love him or hate him. But I think that it's first and foremost it's Capaldi's story that should be focused on him. And I think that's one of my problems with David Bradley being in it as the first Doctor. As much I think he'll be good in it, I think it should very much be focused on the 12th Doctor. Now, one of the other reasons is I think that, as I've said, that if you look at that, he would be much better in a cameo role at the end. It wouldn't really make sense, as I've said, because why would Capaldi, when he's about to regenerate, reflect to the 11th Doctor? He could reflect to any Doctor, and he's more likely to reflect to the first Doctor, as A is in the episode, but B, that was his first Doctor's first time ever regenerating, and this is Capaldi, the Doctor's first time ever regenerating in this new regeneration cycle. So it wouldn't really make sense why he would look back at Matt Smith. But also, why I don't think it would work is, I think if he does come back, it would be great to have Matt Smith back as the Doctor, but I think if you just use him in a small role as a cameo, the likely is, if he comes back now, this will be the only time Matt Smith will ever come back to Doctor Who. I don't think he'll come back again. Obviously, when he's a bit older, he's got enough to do, he may do some big finish, but I mean on TV, he's most likely never to come back again if he comes back now. So I think if you use him in, you should make the most of that opportunity. I think having him in a small role, I don't think would really work, because you need to get his full potential. But then I don't think he should be used in a big role, because I think everybody would just be screaming, oh yeah, 11th Doctor's back, 11th Doctor's back, including me probably. But I think that then that would sort of take the spotlight off of Capaldi, especially as Matt Smith is quite a popular Doctor, so they'd probably be thinking, oh, Capaldi's not had the best, but we can, if Matt Smith's in it, we can drag all those old 11th Doctor fans who dropped off during the Capaldi era back in just because Matt Smith's. It should be focused on Capaldi. I love Matt Smith as Doctor, I've always said, but it should very much be focused on Capaldi. Capaldi deserves this last episode, so I don't want him to be in in the whole episode, because I think with the first Doctor, it could possibly work if the first Doctor, David Bradley, wasn't in it. But as he is, I think a 3 wouldn't really work, especially as it's not a special occasion. I think you'd possibly be copying a bit of the 50th, and also I think it would also take the spotlight off of David Bradley appearing as the first Doctor, because everybody's been really excited about him appearing, but then if Matt Smith appeared, then all of a sudden I don't really think many people would care as much that David Bradley is in it as we have the return of Matt Smith. But I think, yeah, I don't really like it as a cameo, I don't really like it as in the episode, but there is one way in a cameo that I think how they could do it, because there is this long run thing that in the Day of the Doctor, when they're like, all the Doctors, all 12 of them, and they're like, no sir, all 13, and you just see Capaldi's eyes there, before obviously he actually became the Doctor, you've just seen his eyes that he pulled down, and I think that there's always been unexplained why Capaldi did it, and it's never actually happened explained like when he did that. But I think if you had Matt Smith coming to crew maybe both the 12th Doctor and the first Doctor, help save Gallifrey back in Day of the Doctor, it could sort of work. It would resolve Capaldi how he's been there, and it could also resolve the first Doctor how he was there. There is some problems with that. Obviously Capaldi in the Day of the Doctor, of the short clip, you can see he has his TARDIS, but it was Matt Smith's second TARDIS. So Capaldi and Matt Smith's second TARDIS are basically the same, but Matt Smith had these blue, almost greeny sort of lighting in the TARDIS rotor, whereas Capaldi is more orangey sort of light in it. And in that clip, Capaldi was using the Matt Smith's second TARDIS with the bluey sort of light. So either he did it in deep breath before he came back to Clara in Victorian London and redecorated the TARDIS, or he did it here. Now he could just go off into Matt's TARDIS and do it, but that won't make sense unless you have a lot of paradoxes and tiny wing stuff. It could work, but I don't think if they did do it, they would take into account that you use Matt's second TARDIS in the clip. And also, when they do show some footage of the First Doctor in the Day of the Doctor doing it, it's William Hartnell. And they've got a very good impressionist to sort of say a line about saving Gallifrey from Hartnell. But obviously Gallifrey wasn't actually named until the Third Doctor story, The Time Warrior. So obviously that was never actually a proper audio from Hartnell himself. It was actually like a very good impressionist doing the line, like I'm gonna save Gallifrey or something, whatever he says in Day of the Doctor. And I'm not being funny, but David Bradley is brilliant as the First Doctor and Hartnell. But if you compare a picture of Hartnell and Bradley, they don't look anything alike. So it wouldn't make sense really. And if you just had Bradley going into the TARDIS and whizzing off, and then suddenly it showed the clip of Hartnell, it won't make sense either, because they don't really look anything alike. So I think they're gonna use Matt. I think that would be the best way to do it. But still, there are obviously a few like confusing ways. I understand Moffat wanting to obviously bring in his creation Matt. It would be fun to see how Matt would interact with Capaldi, their two Doctors. But obviously, I think he's obviously, I would rather I think it would make more sense for him, because there's like rumours that he'll bring back Clara, and I don't want that to happen. Clara's story is done, he's brought about so many times. And also, the Doctor, if you think back to the ending of Hellbent, he doesn't even remember Clara. So why he would suddenly see her in a flashback or something wouldn't make any sense. But I think it sort of makes more sense for him to bring her back. But I think it won't work as well, because we've already had this practically done in the End of Time with the RTD and Tennant era. But so it would sort of feel like a bit of a copy. But I don't think that Moffat has that many range of good characters like RTD had. Because you think of all the people that appeared in that flashback in the RTD era. You had Mickey, you had Martha, you had Captain Jack, you had Rose, you had Jackie, you had Donnie, you had Wilf, you had Sylvia, Donna's mum, and you had that woman who was in the granddaughter of the woman in the Human Nature Family of Blood two-parter, Nurse Redgrave. I think that was her name. So yeah, you had a very good variety of characters. And I think if you look, sure you have Amy and Rory, but I'm not convinced they would come back. River, wouldn't be surprised if Moffat doesn't bring her back. But you could put the Paternoster Gang in, but they haven't been used since Deep Breath. Clara, yes, Bill. She's in the trailer, we know she's coming back. But I don't really want her to, because I think her story was done in The Doctor Falls. And then obviously Nardole, I don't think they'll bring him back. I don't think you have that good variety of characters that you have in the Moffat era that you had in the RTD era. So I don't think it would work. And like I said, it wouldn't really make sense if he brought back Matt in a flashback, so why would he see Matt before regenerating? Sure, he could have seen any other Doctor. So it doesn't really, it wouldn't make sense. I think I'd like him to come back, but I wouldn't. I have mixed opinions about it, as I've explained. But what do you think? Comment below, let me know. Please like this video if you have enjoyed it, and if you want to see more content from my channel, then please hit subscribe. Goodbye.
Hi, Garen Adam. So Terminus. I must confess I've never actually watched the fifth Doctor story, but I yet know quite a bit about the era. Um, I do love that Davison title sequence. It is probably one of my favourites. I like Turlo as a companion, but I do find Nissa a tiny bit annoying. Not much, but a bit annoying. Valentine Dial is a bit over the top as the Black Guardian. I do like that we see a lots of different rooms in the TARDIS, because in the modern era we don't really see that much of the TARDIS other than the console room, so it's quite nice that we see everybody that has like a different rooms. Because I think that Amy and Rory were referenced to having like bedrooms, but we never actually seen them, so it's nice that we've seen some companions' bedrooms. I always find Davison a bit bland as a Doctor, if I'm honest, but he still puts in a good performance nonetheless. Some of the direction isn't great by Mary Ridge. Tegan doesn't do much, but then that is the nature of the crowded TARDIS. I do quite like the concept of the plague victims. The Garm's design is a bit goofy, but has been created much better on screen than the Nymon in our last classic outing. And Nissa's exit is actually very nicely underplayed. I was going to give this a 5.5 out of 10, but because I liked how the subtlety of Nissa's exit so much, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Take care guys, see ya.